After 3 months en route, Wildfowl Wetlands Trust conservationist Sacha Dench and the Bewick swans arrived in the UK, raising awareness of declining numbers along the way. Back in the summer, Sacha Dench left the UK for an expedition entitled Flight of the Swans, which the Wildfowl Wetlands Trust, WWT, hoped would help improve knowledge and awareness of the dropping Bewick swan population, from 29,000 in 1995 to 18,100 in 2010. Why was this happening? Dench intended to follow the swans on their seasonal migration down south from the Russian Arctic in order to find out, using a paramotor to fly with them wherever they go, and talking to people wherever she landed. If someone drops out of the sky and tells an interesting story, then hopefully it will create stories that will stay in people's cultures, she predicted. It's just been amazing that it all turned out so well. Right single quotation mark. The journey began in the frozen conditions of the Arctic tundra. After a short while to acclimatize to the conditions, Dench and her ground team had to wait for the weather to change, and for the swans to decide to begin their migration south. There were some areas, over the tundra for example, where I circled down quite low over a group of swans and they just looked at me, says Dench. They obviously don't feel any threat there. Then, in other areas, when we got to the border between Estonia and Russia, the birds were nervous from several kilometers away. They're generally just more nervous of people there, which was fascinating. So they're definitely smart enough to adapt their level of fear and anxiety to whatever around them. Once on the move, she traveled with the swans, flying when they flew, resting when they rested. At every opportunity she also dropped in on local communities to talk to people, and 51 schools, about the migrating birds and their relationship with them. There was a lovely village I went to in Russia, on the border where the tundra stops and agriculture starts. The first place that had farming of any kind, she recalls. Word had spread that we were arriving and the mayor of the village was there to see us. She was also a teacher, so she took me into a school to talk to all of the kids. I asked, are the kids interested in wildlife? Her answer was, yes, they all go hunting. During the hunting season they are hunting before and after school for their families. I thought, this is a whole different culture. How do I frame this story for these guys? Right single quotation mark. They were absolutely fascinated by how conservation works, how we count birds elsewhere, how on earth you can possibly know how many swans there are. They're really enthusiastic and definitely going to be swan supporters from now on. But also the story of this woman landing in the middle of nowhere, trying to save the swans, telling them about the different swans, that's going to last in that community. I asked if I was the first British woman to go there, and they said I was the first foreigner to ever go there. The face-to-face interaction was worthwhile, and that really has worked. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe.